You buy a brand new planner, draft an aggressive schedule, and promise yourself that tomorrow will be different. Then you miss a single time block, crumple it up, and start searching for a video to fix your mindset. That burst of forced effort usually lasts 3 days. When the crash hits and you find yourself back on the couch, the internal dialogue begins, labeling your inability to follow a routine as laziness. But if you look at the mechanics of that friction, the problem looks less like a lack of discipline and more like a lack of capacity. You are dragging hidden weights: the constant people-pleasing, the pressure to appear strong, the quiet processing of unspoken grief. These internal demands drain your emotional battery long before you even open your planner. You cannot use productivity tools to fix a drained battery. Attempting to meet this exhaustion with even more forced effort is the specific mechanism that currently keeps you stuck. The modern world conditions us to solve every feeling of lack with addition. If you feel empty, you consume. If you feel stuck, you do more. We are taught that the solution is always found in the next purchase or the next task. But nature operates on a different principle. Anything in excess becomes pollution. This applies to overworking, overextending yourself for others, and the constant intake of digital stimuli. This diagram represents your mental capacity. When multiple streams of work, social expectations, and constant stimuli hit at once, the vessel is flooded. That feeling of paralysis we call procrastination is often your mental bandwidth reaching its limit. As the system cracks under this overflow, your brain seeks the fastest possible relief. It triggers cravings for quick dopamine fixes, social media scrolling, or junk food, creating a loop of cheap rewards that never actually secure rest. Cleaning up this emotional pollution requires us to abandon modern quick fixes and return to a forgotten operating system designed for balance. Thousands of years ago, the Greeks carved a guide for a functional life into the stone of the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. Nothing in excess. They called this path the via media. The philosopher Aristotle later developed this into the golden mean. He realized that health exists in the center, between the extremes of deficiency and excess. This spectrum shows how that theory applies to your current struggle. On the far right is the excess of hyperproductivity. On the far left is the deficiency of total burnout. The focal point is the center, where effort is balanced by recovery. Across the world, Confucius taught a nearly identical concept. His doctrine of the mean warned that acting in excess disturbs the natural human order and leads to mental and social disorder. Across different eras and continents, history's observers reached the same conclusion. Operating at the extremes eventually breaks the human machine. In a modern context, the word temperance sounds like a boring rule about restriction. We associate it with denying ourselves pleasure or following dusty regulations. Ancient thinkers defined it as the intentional protection of your inner peace. It is a tool for self-care that allows you to maintain your mental baseline. Marcus Aurelius believed that this faculty separates the rational mind from animalistic appetites. It keeps us from being overpowered by the constant noise of the world. Practicing temperance is the act of knowing your limits so you can stop fighting against your own biology. The philosophy of the golden mean provides the necessary space to breathe and the permission to step off the pendulum of extremes. Just as the body needs a specific amount of food and sleep to maintain balance, the mind needs a specific amount of effort and recovery. We can call this the principle of enough. Procrastination is an intelligent alarm bell from a mind that has reached its limit. It is a sign that the balance has been disturbed and the system needs to reset. You do not need a harsher routine or another motivational quote. You need the self-compassion found in returning to balance and recognizing when enough is enough.